Hello, everybody, and welcome to the HSF podcast. My name is Josiah Willis, and I'm going to be your host from now until the day I die. Everything for this podcast is just going to be off the cuff, so if I start stuttering, lose my place, that kind of thing, just know I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing in the next bunch of episodes, but I have an outline, I have an idea, and I have a dream. But today's episode is going to be nothing more than an introductory to who I am, what the brand is, basically what it is I'm trying to do here, and what it is I'm trying to provide for you guys. I started doing this kind of stuff just years ago, and it's finally coming to fruition. I'm finally pulling the trigger on it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. But before we get started and before the intro music plays, I just want to give us a quick shout out to our sponsors for the podcast. Our sponsor, first and foremost, is going to be redwickfilms. redwickfilms is a premier audio and video service company whenever it comes to creating any types of media content, specializing in weddings as well as commercials. If you have a vlog or a video channel that you're trying to make as well, they can get anything like that knocked out for you with the highest quality audio and video services. The owner, Connor Chadwick, is a good friend of mine. I've known him for years and years and years, and he makes the absolute best work of anyone I've ever seen in the industry. So if you guys ever need anything, you need a commercial for your business, you got someone who's getting hitched, they need a document of that day, feel free to give him a shout, you guys. Let him know I sent you. Maybe he'll get you a discount. Huh? He's editing this. What you think? You're going to give him a discount? Anyways, that's the first sponsor, you guys. Second sponsor is today's episode is brought to you by Amino Asylum. Amino Asylum makes the highest quality research chemicals for your lab rat. On there, we basically have all the good stuff on there, We have a lot of products and compounds and things of that nature that we're going to be discussing on this podcast as well. Items like BPC 157, TB 500, SR 9009, things of that nature. If you're trying to get your lab rat jacked and shredded for summer, they even have SARMs on there. Do I recommend them? Not necessarily, no. Not at all, actually. Anyways, you guys, if you guys want to get any high quality products, especially BPC for some connective tissue and stuff like that healing, feel free to enter the code HSF20 at checkout to get yourself 20% off. Enjoy that. As of the time of this podcast coming out, we should be good to go whenever it comes to the actual code working. We were discussing this for a couple of weeks, so we should be good to go on the code working. If not, go ahead and just give me a shout on my social. I'll be posting a clip of this hopefully on the HSF Instagram as well as my personal Instagram, which currently is Joe Flya. I'm in the middle of a social media fast at the moment, so I'll be re-downloading the apps and stuff like that soon for promotional purposes. I want to make sure that people know about this. I want to make sure that people know what it is I'm doing, what it is I'm trying to do, and I can get the word out. So, now that all that's out of the way, without further ado, let's get into the episode, you guys. For those of you who have known me for a long time, and I'm sure a lot of my friends and family are listening to this, obviously you guys know me, but for those of you who don't and are finding me on Apple Podcasts, hopefully Spotify, Instagram, wherever it is you're picking this up for the first time, my name is Josiah Willis, like I mentioned in the intro, and I'm a giant nerd. I'm a huge nerd. And basically what I want to bring to the table whenever it comes to this episode and this type of media and things like that is I just want to bring obscurity to the forefront. And what I mean by that is I want to just bring out things that people don't normally think about whenever it comes to health and wellness, specifically things that aren't in the mainstream, things that can actually improve one's overall health and wellness and one's overall quality of life. You know, we've all been spun the same story of, build your base first, build your health and wellness base first on like healthy diet, sleep, and physical activity. But even sometimes building the base can be confusing. You know, I have a friend of mine who's getting started in their fitness journey, and they need to build their own base, and they looked at me in the eye and was just like, what should I do to build my base, And with all these types of fad diets and stuff like that out there, fad things just all the time, just coming and going and coming and going and coming and going. I can't tell you the amount of people that I've heard like, oh, I'm going to do keto. Oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm not going to eat carbs for 10 weeks. Oh, I'm not going to eat meat. I'm not going to eat dairy. I'm not going to do this. I'm just like, dude, don't overcomplicate this. Don't overcomplicate it. There's so many people out there who just try to overcomplicate the living shit out of everything. And like, guys, it's really not that hard. I mean, yeah, it can get really complex if you dive into the weeds of it. But basically, the goal of this is to just essentially boil down as much information as I can into an easier to digest format kind of a thing. Like I'm not a scientist. I didn't make any of this stuff up. I'm just reading stuff from people smarter than me and boiling it down and presenting it to you guys. Like I don't have a degree in nothing. I have a degree in, let's see, being a moron. No, just kidding. I'm not. But for serious though, I'm just a giant nerd, and I've just basically spent my entire life just learning and researching and trying different things and all these different ways of improving one's health and improving one's sport performance, improving one's just overall quality of life. And I believe the reason why I started this brand and why it's called HSF, and I mentioned in the beginning, it stands for Health, Strength, and Faith. Health and strength, obviously, you need to be physically strong. You need to make sure that your health is taken care of, like your nutrition, your supplementation, lifestyle habits, everything like that. And faith, you need to take care of your spiritual health. And personally, with me being a Christian, I believe it's through being saved by the blood of Jesus Christ. And that's one thing that I want to promote with this as well, is just, I just want to share God's grace, God's love to as many people as I can as well, and educate people about health and wellness in the process, So like, basically, our mission whenever it comes to this kind of a thing is to just bring God's grace to the front lines and bring health and wellness, real health and wellness to the front lines. And to be able to get people out of pain, out of depression, out of all these other types of ailments and all these other types of things, and improve their quality of life, And that's one of my biggest passions in life, is that I just like seeing people healthy. I like seeing people happy. I don't like seeing people sad or upset or with a frown on their face kind of a thing. I don't know, it's corny, but like when I see and when I feel as though I can help in a situation, why wouldn't I? Kind of feel like Spider-Man's uncle here. With great power comes great responsibility, right? But yeah, you guys, like I mentioned, I'm just the world's biggest nerd. I've put probably over at this point 7,000 hours into researching different things, and I've built a strong base of knowledge that I believe I can bring to other people. And even if I don't know something, that's why I'm starting this platform. I'm trying to further my own education as much as I'm trying to further y'all's. So a lot of times we're going to be learning stuff together, you guys. And I'm really, really, really excited for the next bunch of episodes, And I think that's the cool thing that kind of differentiates what I'm doing to other people, is like a lot of other brands and stuff like that, and a lot of other people in general for that matter, they hyper focus on one thing, and that's awesome and stuff, and they don't really talk about much of anything else, but and we'll see where this takes us. Maybe I'll go more down the faith section, maybe I'll go more down the health section. I don't know, wherever God takes me. And as long as I can help people. And I think that's the cool thing that differentiates what we're doing here at HSF compared to everywhere else, is that, we're trying to focus on that holistic, whole package health and wellness. Because, sure, you can be strong, but you're not going to be healthy, or maybe you don't have good mental health or good spiritual health, or maybe you have good mental and spiritual health, but you're not physically healthy, or maybe your blood work's all messed up. Excuse me. Had a bit of a late lunch this morning, so I'm a little gassy, if you know what I mean. Just a little gassy, yeah. But anyways, I've lost my place. Hold on, let me think. Right. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I should tell him that. Okay. I'm not talking to anyone. If I had a camera, one day I'm going to have a camera in front of me and you guys are going to be able to see my face. But for now, it's audio only. All right. But I'm literally in a room. I'm in a box, basically, by myself. So I'm talking to nobody. I probably sound nuts right now. Anyways, you guys. So that's kind of what I feel like can differentiate us from everybody else. And, I just want everyone to be as healthy as they can. Get it if they get even a sentence out of this that can improve their quality of life. If they get nothing out of this, but they know someone else who can, boom. Great. I love it. But I just want to do this to the best of my ability and try and get this out to everybody. And I don't care how awkward I'm going to sound. I know for a fact this episode is going to sound 10 times different than episode 20 or 25, because there will be an episode 20. Because I'm trying to take this and let's make it fly, baby. Know what I mean? Know what I'm saying? But yeah, so you guys, you're probably asking, I mentioned earlier, like, I don't have any degrees in anything or whatever. And, I talk a big game about knowledge and information and sourcing and everything like that. But kind of what makes me any different, I guess, like, who am I? Like, not necessarily who am I. I just literally explained all that for about 15 freaking minutes. But when it comes to sourcing information and quality of information and stuff like that, like, who can we trust? What do we go to? And that kind of a thing. And, I believe that anecdotal reports are great. Anecdotal findings, people's stories and stuff like that are great whenever it comes to how a drug can work in a human, or how a certain lifestyle choice can benefit someone or something like that. But honestly, a lot of anecdotal reports can just end up being a load of just complete BS, man. Like, I'm not trying to give you guys fad diets, fad stuff, and all that kind of just hoopla, as they say. That's a load of hoopla. But my goal is to bring real information. And what I mean by that is, whenever it comes to how, like, we conduct our research and stuff, and how, like, we feel it's correct kind of a thing, and, like, basically how do we know what we find is real, And whenever it comes to, like, sourcing information through research papers, personally, if I'm being quite honest, I don't really trust a lot of research coming out nowadays. I think the world is just kind of spiraling down into the shitter, man. Like, I think a lot of things are edited, and like we saw that with the sugar company a number of years ago, right? Like even in like the 80s and 90s, like you have to really cherry pick your articles and find out which ones are actually true. Follow the rabbit trail down to its roots. Who funded the studies, you know? Like the difference between someone saying fat's bad or fat's good is, like I was about to say, did the sugar company, did the sugar industry fund it? Like, did they demonize fats and give us margarine and vegetable oils and corn oil and stuff like that to, because quote unquote like saturated fat's bad for you? What a load of shit, man. Like like, and you know, then there's the whole debate on sugar and stuff like that. Is sugar good for you? Is sugar bad for you? Oh, what about sugar? Blah, 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 blah. Sugar's this, sugar's that. Or meat, red meat. You should eat meat. You shouldn't eat meat. You should eat vegetable oils. You shouldn't eat vegetable oils. And now we have all the carnivore people out here talking about how, like, there's plant defense chemicals. You shouldn't eat plant defense chemicals, man. Like this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. But literally all those compounds that you're demonizing right now have anti-cancerous properties and have been used in multiple different studies that show the efficacy of those plant defense chemicals and stuff like that. I think one argument was for sulforaphane. I think that's found in like broccoli. They're like, oh, gastrointestinal distress and inflammation and oxidative stress and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, yeah, but at the same time, like Dr. Rhonda Patrick and her team of scientists and their researchers and stuff like that say that sulforaphane has been shown clinically to shrink tumors in rats, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the correct study. I can look that up and I'll vet that in another episode, but just coming up with stuff off the top of my head. I'm a little rusty whenever it comes to that. But in a sense, what I look for is, you know, placebo-controlled, double-blind studies, studies that are published in high-quality journals and stuff like that, that have a lot of reputation about them. I don't really like citing articles and research papers that have only been cited by one person or two people, you know, like I like stuff that has a lot of gas behind it, anything cited by over 50 researchers whenever it comes to presenting an article for my argument. And that's another thing too. Like, I don't want to cherry pick stuff. I don't like it when people cherry pick articles. It's like, oh, well, this guy said in this article that, you know, if you drink, I don't know, apple juice, your stomach's going to explode. It's like, well, yeah, but he also swallowed a time bomb. That's why he exploded. It wasn't the apple juice, you know? I just see a lot of that, especially in kind of like the vegan community and stuff like that. You know, a lot of them cherry pick articles. You know, nothing against vegans or veganism. You know, if you can't do meat, then you can't do meat. Do you, bud? I'm just saying from what I've seen with a lot of the more well-known upper echelon of people in that type of industry and stuff like that, they tend to cherry pick articles for their own benefit. Or like, I think it was, what was that Netflix documentary where they were like, oh, this plant-based strongman is like so great and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but I've never seen him in like one competition ever where he like, was he even in World's Strongest Man, dude? I've never seen him before in my entire life. You know who won World's Strongest Man? Brian Shaw. And he's eaten the most red meat out of anyone I've ever seen in my entire life. I guess outside of like Liver King, but we all know how that happened. But anyways, my goal is to basically just not lead people astray as best as I can. And I want to provide high quality information, high quality sourcing for articles, high quality sourcing for information with scientists and researchers that I trust. And just because I trust them doesn't mean you have to trust them. You know, everyone do your own research. Everyone do your own research. If I'm wrong about something, I have no problem admitting that I'm wrong about something. You know what I mean? Like, do not know everything. I know far from everything. Like, I'm all self-educated, self-studied, and you know, I have a lot of ways to go whenever it comes to knowing information and stuff like that. So, like I said, I'm just taking stuff from people who are smarter than me and bringing it to you guys. And these people, I'm kind of referencing, like Dr. Rhonda Patrick and like Dr. Matthew Walker whenever it comes to like sleep and stuff, and Morley Robbins, and I think Greg Knuckles and stuff like that. Like a lot of these really, really cool researchers and stuff like that who like take all this information and bring it to us. Dr. Thomas O'Connor, big proponent of, I think he studies testosteronology. One person who I'm hoping to get on the podcast soon, Gan Sasaki, studies enzymes and systemic enzymes. So, which, speaking of, that's probably going to be episode 2. After this introductory episode, I'm going to be doing an episode on systemic enzymes. So we can come to expect that hopefully within the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be taking some more time and studying systemic enzymes. It's really, really cool, you guys. Like, a lot of people, just a little teaser, whenever it comes to systemic enzymes, like, people have like collagen buildup, like dead proteins. And by dead proteins, I mean like, collagen, fibrin, plaque in the arteries type stuff. And like, what's really crazy about these systemic enzymes is that whenever they're ingested and they make it through the bloodstream and stuff like that, like, they literally break down all these proteins. So it's like, if you've had an injury a number of years ago and you have a bunch of scar tissue in your knee and you start systemic enzyme therapy, it can literally grind up all the non-living tissue in the knee joint, and it can give you more fuller range of motion, if not restore it to full range. And I've been taking this stuff for a few months, almost a year now, actually. Well, total. I took some last year at a low dose, and this year I tripled the dose. And I noticed when I tripled the dose, I had a bad knee injury when I was playing football. And like, I was like moving to go guard someone, and one of the running backs ran behind me, hit my shoulder, and the guy that I was blocking, we locked legs, and then the line shifted and landed on us, and my leg literally internally rotated so much that my kneecap was dislocated off of its track. And it didn't require surgery or anything like that, thank God, but it was still traumatic enough to where it was just like, okay, like, I had to wear a straight brace for 8 months and stuff like that. And like, since then, like, it's just been a complete crapshoot, I tell you what. But one thing I've noticed is that since I've started taking these enzymes, I have less pain in my knee, number one. Number two, comparing like warm-up times before weightlifting. I do competitive Olympic lifting. Warm-up times for my knees now compared to last year is like almost cut in half. Like, walking around, my mobility in my knee has increased at least 50%. I had like a couple of back injuries and stuff, and I can feel the tension in my back is releasing, and it's a lot easier for me to warm up and not be stiff, which is awesome. Awesome. So look out for that episode, you guys. It's going to be episode 2. I'd like to bring on Gan Sasaki here in a future episode and talk about it again. I'm kind of in a little bit of talks with him right now, so hopefully we'll be able to get him on the podcast. If not, maybe sometime in the future. I have a lot of big plans whenever it comes to this, and I'm kind of getting off track right now, but like, whenever it comes to like vetting our sources and stuff, like, I like supplements with mom and pop behind it, like small shops and stuff like that, people who know what they're talking about and want to provide value and a service to people. So like, I'm working with a couple of companies right now. I don't want to, shout them out right now until I can kind of bring you guys some more value to it, by way of giving discounts and stuff like that, Lord willing, but I'll probably talk about them at some point. But like people like, Matt Blackburn and stuff like that, they bring high quality information to the forefront, and it's really awesome to see as high a quality of products as he has with his stuff. And people like that, Research Chemicals, places like, Amino Asylum and Nootropic Source and that kind of stuff. Like, whenever it comes to that, like, not just anecdotal reports as well, but people who are open and show their third-party test results and show the results for heavy metals or show the results for what's actually in their products. We work with GMP certified, GMP certified manufacturers and stuff like that, or at least people that work with GMP manufactured places, as well as, a lot of research chem places, they synthesize things on their own and stuff like that. So whenever we see places like that, we ask for paperwork to see basically the lab results for all their stuff and make sure that it's coming from a reputable place, and things of that nature. We basically want to make sure that whenever we recommend something, we're not recommending a load of bullshit, like we want to make sure that what's in the product is in the product, and what's in the product is effective, basically, and isn't going to completely destroy you. So lastly, guys, just to kind of wrap up everything, I got to get going to work here in a minute. I got to go to work after I'm done working. But basically, you guys, uploading, we can expect about two episodes a week is what I'm going to try and shoot for. I'm just going to have one big day of recording and then split the episodes up. At least that's the plan anyways. From there, we're basically going to have that type of structure. The episode in the first beginning of the week is going to be like a bit of like, just a morning coffee, just sit down, let's open up God's word and let's just kick the week off right, and then episode 2 in the later part of the week is going to be just like health and wellness stuff. Maybe I'll bring on a guest. Maybe we'll talk more about faith. Maybe we'll talk about health and wellness stuff, but I usually kind of like to cycle the themes a little bit. But you can expect first episode in the beginning of the week to be us cracking open God's word. And then the second episode of the week is going to be more of us diving into health and wellness practices, hygiene, health habits, all that kind of good stuff, and really kind of crack into that. But yeah, next week, you guys, I'm hoping to have episode 1 up on Monday, which is going to be a little bit of a devotional. My friend Tullian Chavijan, I have a book of his called It Is Finished. And it's just a book of just good news, just a book of God's word, man. And I'm going to crack open that, read the chapter accompanying it. Tullian, if you're listening, I want to have you on the show. Let's talk about Jesus. Let's talk about health. Let's shoot it. Let's have a little kickback, my friend. Let's have some fun. But yeah, you guys. And then next week, next Thursday. Yeah, next Thursday we should have our episode up about systemic enzymes. And from there, we'll just kind of plan it out from there. Next week's Josiah will tell you what the following week's theme is going to be. But yeah, all right, you guys, that's my time. It's been about 30 minutes. I really got to get going to work. I got to go sit down at a computer and tell people at Mattress Firm how to check people out. Oh, gosh. Anyways, you guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for those who have decided to sit down and listen to this with me. I know it's just an introductory episode. Nothing really valuable coming in yet, but I promise you guys, those of you who stick around with me and those of you who sit down and just listen and spend time with me, I I will do my best and try my hardest to bring you guys the highest quality information that I can. And if you guys have any suggestions, hit me up on social media. My Instagram is JoeFlyah. That is JoFlyah. Again, check out Redwick Films if you guys need anything whenever it comes to high quality video services for weddings, commercials, vlogs, testimonials, anything you may need audio or video work for. And then lastly, you guys, again, check out Amino Asylum, code HSF20 at checkout. Get you 20% off your entire order. But yeah. Alrighty, you guys. Going into this weekend, may God bless you. Enjoy your time with your friends and families. For those of you who stayed all the way to the end, God bless you. I love you guys. Take care.